Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Leif Taylor, once again. Today, what I'm going to be working on, of course, is some Big Head Charles characters. And so I was just starting off with the first image. Right now, I'm just doing my typical share. Hopefully, this is showing up on Twitch and YouTube as well. I usually stream directly to Facebook. So we're just seeing how this is going to work for today, and we'll go from there. If you got any questions or anything, always just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer anything that you have. Let me do these quick shares real quick, and we'll get right to it. Hold on 1 second. This is, like I said, this is always the longest part of anytime I do this, is just making sure I get it to all the various groups that I'm a part of that do art and design. One more share, and I'll be ready to go. And so basically, this image that you're looking at right now is an image I did probably a week or two ago. And what I'm going to do today is expand on the concept of the image that I had. The idea was, I was thinking about my character Big Head Charles, and for those of you all that don't know, Big Head Charles is a character that I made up quite a while back, and I've developed some stories around him, and I've been working on a lot of different assets. But this particular image, I was thinking about, okay, what would it be like if he had to go to the barber shop, right? And so, I gave him some quarantine hair, and I kind of actually like the hair that he has. So we'll see what that looks like going forward. But the concept again was that he grew his hair, and then his parents had to take him to the barber shop. So the first thing I sketched up was him in a barber chair, and that's what I'm going to be working on today, just cleaning up that concept, making the idea solid. I don't know if I'll follow through and clean it up on this stream or not, because that stuff takes some time, and I know there are a lot of like artists that'll do like 3 or 4 hours straight on live. I'm not sure if I do that. I definitely typically do spend a lot of time on an image, but I don't know if I want to stream that long. So we'll see how today goes. Anyway, one more share and we'll get going. So like I said, this is the image that I put out. Actually, when I designed him with a mask, just to show the quarantine. And the program that I'm using, as always, is Procreate right now. I'm using StreamYard to share this. Also, I'm using QuickTime to make it show up on my computer so I can stream. So we'll see how this goes. This is my first time using QuickTime for this type of thing. But anyway, let me close some of these windows out, some of these images out. And you can see I have a variety of different layers over here. And so this was the image that I started off with. It was a quick sketch. What I'm going to do is just work on this particular sketch and clean it up some. So the idea is that, he goes to the barber, and the barber's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this kind of thing? But as I was looking at this before I went on, I was going to adjust some of it. I was going to adjust. Let me get on the layer here. I'll just add a new layer, and I'll add a new color so you can see what I'm doing. So I was actually going to adjust the height of the chair itself. His head is actually too small here. It should be a lot larger. And the way I came up to this conclusion is I resized the character over here. I'll open this so you can see what size I drew it, but I resized them on this layer right here just to give some context into the actual height. And so if this is the actual height of Big Head Charles compared to the guy, and you can see he has a little body. And the way I've judged this to keep it consistent is that his head, where his body ends is typically around the knees of an adult. So that way it gives me an idea. It's a little higher than the adult. So it would actually be, if I resize it, it would be roughly about right there. So you can see his head is pretty huge for the size guy. So what I need to do is resize his head here, adjust the height of the chair, and then position it to where he's the right height to the barber himself. So I'm going to do that right now. So bear with me as I get this out of the way. And also a quick shortcut for those of you in terms of keeping a character consistent. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can't hear me or whatever. And one of the best ways to keep a character consistent and also if you have to do a lot of drawing is just to take the actual character and just redraw over top of that. So I do that quite a bit. Anyway, okay. So let me get going here. Let me close this out. And so actually, one of the things that I do is I'll do like an overlay layer. I'll do that. And then I'll just lighten that up and then draw over top of that. So this way I can keep track of everything that's going on. And also I'm going to be manipulating this image. You know what? I'm going to duplicate it just in case. I always like to keep my original sketches. Sometimes I get rid of them just because. So I'm going to lower the chair to, just so if it's at its lowest setting. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this character, bring him up above that layer, and then bring him over here and reposition where his head would be if he were in the chair. So I'll push him back some more that way. And then what I do is I'll just go in here and erase this layer. I'll erase that layer. So now you can see the underlying body. I'll zoom in on it. You see the underlying body there. And that's a quick way to, one, keep the head consistent, two, make sure that your character is proportional. And also now I got my colors in here, so I don't necessarily need this other reference. I'll look at the references sometimes just to make sure I got his body proportional to what it's always been. But it's not a necessity. Once you start drawing a character over and over, then you'll get used to it. And so I have this layer right here. And in Procreate, I typically don't label my stuff too much unless I know it's going to be real crazy. If I have multiple characters, that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do here is label this, I'll just call it sketch. And I'm still adjusting to this new way of writing and on the iPad. So I'll just call that layer sketch. And I'll also put a sketch above. And typically on the layer above, what I do, for example, I'll sample the color of his head. And if I want to change something with his eyes or something like that, like I'll increase that. Like I'll do that or something. I'll just color over top of it. And that's another quick way to change things. So just changing that. And also if you're going to do animation, that's another way you can pretty much get by without doing as much work. Because the idea is to produce work and not do more work. Or at least that's the way I approach it. So anyway, start sketching. And you always want to make sure that you get like different references and things like that. One of the things that I was references was different barber chairs, just to make sure that it made sense when you look at it, because with images, you can't always explain everything. So anyway, let me get to sketching. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So right now I'm just putting the barber smock on him. I really need to look at a variety of them. Excuse me. Just to see how they typically go. And I think they're a lot larger, so maybe I'll drape it over or something like that. Then the little legs. And right now, all I'm doing is just sketching, just just for my own sake. It's not about cleaning it up completely right now. You'll do that later. And typically, like if I take this head off, that's kind of what this is just a rough sketch, a rough premise of where I want things to be. And then you go in and start cleaning it up later and start building. So don't think that you have to draw the perfect image at first. There's always, time to improve and that kind of stuff. So just take your time with it. Yeah, and so what I'm thinking about here is I'll take this chair up behind his head to avoid a tangent because of his ear. And tangents are when something touches like that. It just creates visual tension. So you want to make sure you avoid that. And I'll pan that out a little bit more, the smock. And then also I'm thinking about changing the barber's position and even demeanor. I may even change him altogether. And don't be afraid to draw through your images. Uh, and you'll see me go back and forth through this. Make sure I'm on the right layer. And so I'll typically do adjust the layer itself just to make sure that it's coming out the way I need it to. And again, keeping it real loose, keeping it real sketchy. See how the barber standing back here. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit more so I can see him. Okay, so I'm going to re-sketch this head of this barber. And I'm going to do just a standard body for right now. And the idea is I want to think about, okay, what do I want his body language to be? Still want him on a thing because Charles's head is so big. You got to be able to see over the top. And also, I was just thinking about this stuff in the background, just to make it a scene of sorts. I don't want to make it a complete scene. I want to keep it, just visually loose, clean background kind of stuff for this particular setup. Thought about like maybe having a pricing chart or something in the back. Or you know what, I'm not going to put that right there because I thought about adding a speech bubble as well. Making more almost like a comic strip. And maybe I'll turn his head this way. Maybe I'll have him holding the clippers in this hand. And so there, I'll lighten this so you can see so you can see what's going on. And then I thought like maybe in the speech bubble, like so it's like I got to charge extra, right? I should put right there. And I'll clean that up as well. And so that's the rough premise. And like I said, I'm gonna go in here and just start cleaning this up some more. And I'll change Charles's expression as well. It's really just trying to map out how I want this to look. And I'll zoom in so you can see just the kind of little stuff that I'm doodling. And that's him holding. I'm trying to remember if I gave these guys 4 fingers or 5 fingers. Okay, yeah, we got 4 fingers. So now I need to decide on whether or not if I want him to look similar to what he already looked. I kind of don't because it was just a generic face anyway. And let me get this out a little bit more. And actually, I'm gonna make him a little taller, just a tad taller. And I may shrink all of this down some just to make sure that it fits within the framework the way I need it to. And I'll adjust that arm some. And I may even change the positioning of this arm over here just so it reads better. I'll leave it. I'll think about that a little bit later. Yeah, anybody got any questions or anything? And all this is just guides. And I'll clean this up some more as well. So I'm trying to think if I should give him a barber smock or not. What do you guys think? Okay, I mean, look at some barber reference here to see how it should go. Yeah, I'll give him one. I'll give him one of those. First I had a more excitable looking, but now I'm just gonna like make them more chill. So you see I'm just slowly fleshing him out, and I need to readjust his head just a bit. So, because again, in this particular world, everybody kind of has a big head, but nobody has a head as big as Charles. So I need to scale it just a little bit more down. And oops, then I'll scale his head up just a bit. I'll just come down with it like that. So it's got a little finesse in it. The reason why I have it up so high as well, and I'll be able to adjust all of this, is that I want to make sure that I have space for that, but I can adjust that as well. So I may actually bring all of this down a tad bit. Just bring it down. Then sorry you guys can't hear any music or anything. I got my headphones on to make sure everything sounding correct. Make them look. I make them look down, like. And I'll clean his head up a little bit too. This one's good. Barber. The look. Give them some bracelets. That's looking like gibberish right now, but cleaning this up, because all I'm doing right now is just touching him up a bit. I'll make him a little wider. And what I'm going to do once I have my framework, I'm going to go in and make sure that I'm going to start tightening up the image some more. I'll give some loose grid lines here. Just give some loose grid lines. Yeah, I don't know if I want to add too much detail to this. I may take this poster off because you know how they usually have like the barber profiles when you walk in. I don't know if I want to do that much drawing, so I may do some just like generic heads or something like that. I don't know, some silhouettes. I don't know. I'll probably delete it to be honest, or make it or simplify it. And also another reason why I like to do clean silhouettes a lot of time is just to make sure, like if the background changes, I can change the background whenever I need to. So I try to, oops, forget all the layers are selected. Now when I do that, yeah, I like that a little better. I'll move that over here, and I'll take this poster, move it right there. And what I may do with the poster is just put some color swatches in there, if I keep it at all, to be honest. And now what I'm gonna do is rough in some color for Charles. Well, actually, I'm gonna do it this way. And add another layer. Sample as eye color. Oops. Just need to. And what I'm doing right here is just thinking about, okay, if I add like maybe have Charles looking up at him. And again, this is a rough, so it looks a little sloppy. Doesn't matter. The idea is to make the image read. So that's what I'm focusing on again. And I may change the angle of the chair now that I'm thinking about it. Because it doesn't, I can make it almost straight on, really. Well, I don't know. Let me think about it. Here I'm going to group Charles's head. And what I'm going to do is just draw through this image to make sure that the chair is hitting where it needs to be. And again, draw through is just, I'm just making sure that the dimensions are reading correctly. And also, not only that, I want to add some stylization to it. So everything doesn't have to be like real world. So never forget that aspect as well. So here's technically what the chair would look like. And I may add, but you won't even be able to see it for real. I may add just some styling to it. I'll bring it out here some more, so we don't have any tangents. And instead of being straight up here, I'll add an angle to it. So again, that way it reads a little more style to it. Even this thing that he's standing on, I could do something like that. I don't know. Thinking maybe you can stand on something else to make it more funny, but right now I think that works. And I'll add the head back just so you can see where we are. Let me go in here, clean how this reads up some more. So his body would be here. Taking us where his body would be, so his legs would come out here. And again, I know this is probably hard to read. And what I'm going to do is actually keep the smot inside of the chair just so the chair reads more. And I'll work on his feet a little bit more as well. Like I said, I'll make it go this way. And maybe just bring his feet out some more. So when I clean this up a little bit, it'll be a little more clear on what's going on. Maybe I'll adjust his hand too over here, the barber's hand. Just thinking this through. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually give it a second pass. I'm going to bring it under here. And typically I'll do this, I'll do multiple passes just to, sometimes you just want to clean up different things. Sometimes I'll change the color before I darken it. And the brush I'm using is Studio Pen, and I changed it to, I modified the settings on it. So doing his eyes, like I said, this stuff will be lined up. And then just going back through just gives you an opportunity for yourself just to figure out how you want things to line up sometimes. And you can see I'm just adding just a little bit more clarity to the image, opening up his face a little bit more. And good med angle right there. And actually I'm gonna bring his mouth down just a tad. And in his ear. Straight down right there. See, so if we're looking up at him, and I'll give his shirt, see, slightly inside kind of thing. So I may change his hand. Slide him out just a little bit. Give his hand some space. Ensure both layers are selected. Now just slide him out just a tad. And the reason why I did that is because I want his hand to read. Okay. What's that? Yeah, so this is what I wanted to do with it, just to, like I said, clear it up a little bit. Sometimes you just want to make sure stuff reads a little better. I'm just slowly going through, keeping it real loose. Then I'll bring this smock in here. I'll bring it across like that. And then the high cuffs. Shoes. And actually, I'm thinking about taking this through here just to show that it's behind the chair. Again, just to add just a bit more clarity. Chair, better base. So just so you can see what I've done. Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second. And you can look at me real quick. Okay, there we go. It came back. Okay, and it's not back. So let me, like I said, so what I'm doing right now, I'm actually connecting my QuickTime through this because my A power mirror was kind of tripping. That's one of the things I use, and it's still tripping right now. So I'm going to bring back QuickTime to connect it. And I'm kind of finagling how that's working as well. Because I'm streaming from it, but I'm actually not recording. So quick pro tip. Oops. So let's see if it allows me to do it. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So as you can see, it's blinking in and out. And if you look in the bottom right corner, you'll see where it's recording on QuickTime. And so we'll see if it lets me continue through. This is one of the issues. Like if I was to if I were drawing on my computer, then it would be no issue. And there it goes again. But I'm drawing from my iPad, and that's where the issue is coming in. Hold on one second. Let me debug live here. It's always the issues you face, the technical side of stuff. Because if my Streamcast was actually working correctly, we wouldn't be going through all of this. See if I can get it rolling. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Okay, so we're going to try this through my Streamcast, through A-Power Mirror. So that's what I'm currently using right now, is A-Power Mirror. You can see the record sign is gone. So let's find out. So anyway, back to the drawing. I'm just trying to add more clarity. As you can see, that's what it looked like before. Added a little bit more clarity to the character. Before, after, before, after. And so that's why I say I'll take several passes just to fine tune the look. And it's really no big deal, to be honest. You just get used to the process. And once you become accustomed to the process, then redrawings become really simple in terms of, you know, you don't make a big deal out of it. Like I said, my man Floyd Mayweather says hard work is easy work. This is not hard work, but there's definitely just processes involved that you just gotta be good at. And then the more you get these processes done, the less underdrawings you have to do anyway. So it kind of works hand in hand. You just gotta make sure you put in your time to get better at it. And I'm still practicing and learning and that kind of stuff. So again, all I'm doing right now is just going back over what's there, and I'm just adding the same thickness to his fingers as I have down below. And this piece right here, I probably should look at some clippers. I'm just going from memory on what clippers look like. And I may technically clean this up as well before it's all said and done. The idea is just to keep stuff real simple. I just put Z's because I'm not sure what a clipper sounds like. Like, I don't know how to mimic that. So anyway, so now just take it down to this chair. And again, I'm just trying to watch these tangents here. So I'll overdo the chair to where it just cuts into his leg, because I don't want that tangent to hit.